There are a lot of budget sous vide machines out there. So how do you pick between those machines? I want to take a stab at it. I know there are a lot more machines than I've tested. I've tested a lot of them, but these are three I think deserve your attention. If you've got another one you think is a better solution than what I come up with, please leave a comment, let people know. I'm sure they'd like to hear it. But when we're talking about sous vide machines, we've gotten more and more of them. The technology has gotten better and better. It's becoming a commoditized product, but it's hard to choose which one is right for you amongst the plethora of options out there. So I'm gonna try and help. Hopefully I do. So I wanna break down three that I think are worth your consideration. I'll sort of land on one that I would recommend to you, but let's jump into comparing some of these sous vide machines in the budget category. And I think you have to start with Anova's Precision Cooker 3.0, because ultimately that is, Anova is the pioneer of bringing sous vide machines to people. They have the most robust lineup of sous vide machines. They sell more sous vide machines than anyone. So this is their budget model. This is the Anova Nano, Precision Cooker Nano 3.0. So what you need to know about this is it comes with 850 watts of power. It is Wi-Fi capable. That is an upgrade from the 2.0 version. The 2.0 version also had 750 watts of power. So meaningful upgrade in wattage, certainly on a percentage basis term. But it's a good machine. This machine costs about $150. You get the peace of mind of buying an Anova product, which comes with a 2-year warranty. You know, Anova's gonna stand by that warranty. So anytime you're talking about budget sous vide machines, the Nano has to be in the conversation because it comes from the most reputable player in the industry. Second, I've been recommending the INKBIRD a lot for budget sous vides. This is a great machine. It's 1,000 watts. This is the 200W model. I prefer it over the 100W model. You can watch a video that I've done to figure out why exactly, but I do like the 200W much better than the 100W. The problem with the INKBIRD I found is that it's been out of stock quite often over the past year or so. So I went out there trying to find a viable alternative to the INKBIRD. So this INKBIRD 2 is Wi-Fi capable, which is a rarity in the budget sous vide category. So that's one of the things that I thought was a nice real feature that you could use, being able to control it from the office or on the go at your kid's soccer game, what have you. You can do that with all three of these machines. So call that a prerequisite of what I'm recommending to you here. Then you have the Wevac. So the Wevac is the one that I found away from the INKBIRD that I thought warranted your consideration. Now this is a 900 watt machine, so more powerful than the Nano 3.0. Less powerful than the INKBIRD, but you know, it's very comparable from sort of a build perspective to the Nano. It's roughly the same height, roughly the same sort of girth, if you will, or width of the body itself. And it's much smaller than the INKBIRD. What does this mean practically for you? Here's what it means to me. I can fit these two machines in my kitchen cabinet, in my kitchen drawer, which to me is a big deal. If I can store these in a drawer versus a cabinet, that's a lot easier storage solution for me. So these two you can put in a drawer. This one does not fit in my drawer anyway. So that's what you need to know from that perspective. Now, the big thing that makes the Wevac stand out to me and gives it an advantage over the INKBIRD is it's got a 2-year warranty. And when you're thinking about that 2-year warranty, so it matches Anova, and you can sit there and say Anova is a really reputable brand. What does a Wevac 2-year warranty mean relative to an Anova 2-year warranty? Well, I think you should know Wevac's been around for 15 years. They are new to the sous vide market, but they're primarily a vacuum sealer machine maker. So a related category, if you will, to sous vide cooking, and they've been around for 15 years. So that is a big deal as you think about the viability of that 2-year warranty. INKBIRD comes with a 1-year warranty. So advantage to Wevac from that perspective. So what are some of the other differences? The INKBIRD is not IPX7 certified. So you got to be a little more careful when you're washing this machine, like just cleaning it up and wiping it off. These two are IPX7 certified, which means you don't need to be as careful because they really are quite water resistant. They're manufactured to that specification and certified. Now, getting to a bit of more practical thinking about these machines. They're all gonna be able to move, you know, about the same amount of water. The Nano is probably good for, call it 16 liters of water or so. So what is 16 liters? Let's visualize that. This is the Anova Nano, this is the Anova sous vide container, 16 liter sous vide container. They also make a 12 liter version. But this is how much water you're gonna wanna use with the Nano, or your limit, if you will. So you could probably do a full-size brisket. You're not gonna do a large full-size brisket in here, but you can do a brisket in here, but that's gonna be probably the limit of the type of foods you can cook. And then as you think about something like the INKBIRD, I think like 20 liters is what you're gonna think about, so a quarter more than what you saw with the 16 liter version. The Wevac's gonna be, again, roughly 20 liters, maybe slightly less than that. So you're gonna be able to do, I'd say, like a large brisket with the INKBIRD, a medium-sized full brisket with the Wevac, and sort of a smaller full brisket with the Nano is how I would think about it, if that's helpful. Lastly, let's talk about noise. INKBIRD to me is a standout in the sous vide category because it's so quiet you don't know it's on. Nano is on the other end of the spectrum for me. It's got a loud whine, is how I would describe it. So I am not particularly fond of the noise that it makes. Wevac is somewhere in the middle. You're gonna know it's on, unlike the INKBIRD, but it's a very pleasing would be the wrong word, but it's not abrasive to the ear at all. So let's just plug them all in so you can actually judge for yourself. So give me a second to set this up and we'll go from there. So I'm gonna do the INKBIRD first. Like I said, I think it's the quietest, so it makes sense to do that first. So you heard some initial splashing as the water started to move, but at least to my ear, I can't hear it at all right now. I'll let you judge. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna start the Wevac, which I think is a little louder. Again, I said, well, why don't I play it for you? Start it and let you judge. So to me, you can hear this, but it's not an abrasive sound by any means. But it's on. You know it's there. Let's stop it. Next, we'll go to the Nano 3.0. So to me, definitely louder than the other two. You're gonna know it's in the room for sure. And it's got that higher whine, like I describe it as more abrasive sort of sound to it. That may be displeasing to you. Okay, so I'm gonna shut it off. Now, talking about some of the drawbacks of the Wevac, because I have been talking about all the good things of the Wevac. The Wevac, you'll notice, has this flat display. So you're not gonna be able to see it across the room. You're gonna have to be close to it, or you can pick up your app, look at your app, and know where you are in the cook. But it's got that flat display. That is a drawback of it. But I will say, like, both the Nano and the Wevac are very simple in terms of what buttons there are. You just simply hit time or temp and you scroll and you figure out what you want there. Very easy to use. The INKBIRD is a little bit it takes a little bit of getting used to. You got to push a few more buttons to get where you want, but it's not hard by any means. And then just thinking about the app, like I said before, the Anova is the most robust recipe catalog there is, more so than Breville. So that's going to be the nicer app of the three. because of that robust recipe catalog ultimately, the INKBIRD and Wevac are definitely serviceable apps if what you're after is monitoring the time and temp, or setting the time and temp and monitoring the cook. Fully able to do that. The basic functionality is all there. Comparing between the two, I do prefer the Wevac app slightly more than the INKBIRD app. So in summation, look, I think the Wevac is a really good option for you. It's got that 2-year warranty, which is pretty rare within budget sous vides. Like I said, all these are Wi-Fi, but again, that's a rarity within budget sous vides. And then it costs roughly half the amount of the Anova Nano. The INKBIRD is 85 bucks MSRP. It fluctuates, that's roughly the price. The Wevac is 100 bucks MSRP, but Wevac has offered viewers of my channel 15% discount. So enter code topsousvide into the Wevac site to get 15% off this Wevac, bringing it in line with INKBIRD. So 85 bucks for that as well. One of the things that I think is a big difference between the Wevac and the INKBIRD is I can put the Wevac in my drawer, in my kitchen drawer. I can't with the INKBIRD, so that's some of the practical difference in terms of size of these two. And then I do think the screw clamp makes it just more versatile than the regular weight clamp. So for those reasons, I really do like the Wevac, and I think it's worthy of your consideration. But INKBIRD, Wevac, two of my recommendations within the budget sous vide space. Hope that helps.